And we are in. We're live. It's Kloppzone, bringing you the stats. Liverpool versus Bournemouth game day preview show with the ones, the only, James the Brain and Statman Jack, aka Anfield Analytics. Yes, we are bringing you all the stats today, looking at how Bournemouth may capitalise on Liverpool, what Liverpool have to do to beat Bournemouth, which is weird. We shouldn't have to be saying this right now. But Liverpool do have to pull the fingers out the backsides. But this is Kloppzone. This is statistically speaking. So let's get the show underway. Boom! Boom, boom, boom. James, are you drinking Coca-Cola this early in the morning?
I've got a can.
Oh, my goodness. This is the example we're saying. Do you know what I mean? We're meant to be role models, Jack. For children watching, water, H2O.
Water.
There you go. Not Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, if you're watching, you can sponsor this Kloppzone show. I will not say no to free Coca-Cola.
That's the only time that I'll accept Coca-Cola on the show from now on. If they're sponsoring, tell you what, role models or what. Let's shout out a few people in the building before we begin. Owen Hayes wants to know score predictions. Easy, brother. Calm down, Owen. We've just started the show. We might get into that later. Ellis is back. Yes, hello, Ellis. Paul Donnelly. Yo. Connor Burnett. Hello. How you doing, Connor? Scouse is rising in the building, giving us the 4 waving hands. By the way, our academy team yesterday, unbelievable comeback. 3-3 versus Tottenham. What a game. Get over to Scousers Rising to follow all things Academy. He's here. The Jerry James Show. He knows the score. Smash the likes on the way in. That's all we want. A few likes. That's all we need on the way in. 8 watching, so there should be 8 likes. That's, you know what I mean? Get in there. Smash the likes. How's everyone doing? That's what I want to start with. I'm going to go to Mr. Statman Jack first, Mr. Non-Coca-Cola boy. Statman Jack, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm ready for the game today. I'm feeling positive, so hoping for the win.
Do you know, how bad is that?
I know.
Hoping for the win.
No, I'm confident. So I am confident. No, I am. We're going.
No, I am. To be honest, I am. And my score prediction reflects that, which we'll tell you a little bit later on and go into a bit more deep with Hype Station later in the day. But I am slightly confident. Mr. James the Brain, Coke in the AM.
Yes.
How are you this morning, James the Brain? You feeling good?
Yeah. I'm a little bit confident for today, but I don't know. It just depends whether Trent's had his breakfast yet or not, or if he's even going to bother to have any breakfast, or whether he's just going to stay in bed all day and just not turn up at the stadium. You know. Oh
my goodness, James is already throwing shade at Trent Alexander-Arnold. This is going to be a long day. I feel like James has got his moody head on. So we'll see how this goes, people. But we do everything the same on statistically speaking, because get your face off my screen. Nobody wants to see that first thing in the morning. On statistically speaking, we always have the same features. So we've got I bet they've not prepared for this. I bet they've forgot. So James is going to be frantically typing now. Did you know? Look at his face. Look at his face. James, did you come prepared to the show today?
No.
Right, I'm removing you for good. That's it. And we've got Did You Know up in the building today. We also have Betting Banker. We've got the
sound
betting
effects.
Oh, you want the sound effects back?
Do you want me to control the sound effects, or are you quite okay doing it?
Betting banker. There you go. Are you happy, James? There's still sound effects. Don't worry. So we've got betting banker and did you know? We want you to vote for whose stat did you know stat is the best. I'm going to watch James all show frantically searching for some stats. This is going to. I think you should just.
I'm just going to accept defeat now.
That's what I want
just going to accept defeat now.
So let's go back first of all, because we want to go back a little bit and look at the last match against Man United. I know it hurts, but we've got to go back and look at the last game against Manchester United. It's becoming a common theme, isn't it, Jack? That theme of people attacking down Liverpool's right, their left-hand side, in behind Trent. Do you think Trent gets a bad deal of it and gets a lot of criticism when other players are to blame? Or do you actually think Trent needs to shape up a little bit now?
I mean, I do think he needs to step up his game this season. I think he's been poor the first three games so far. But at the same time, I don't think it's been helped by the lack of midfield that we had against Man United. So it's a bit of both, really, isn't it?
Speaking of lack of midfield, Klopp apparently wants De Jong, everybody's saying. What are your opinions? I'll tell you my opinions. 600k a week. That's my opinions. Liverpool aren't paying it. So get De Jong out your head. Get Bellingham out your heads, because it's just not going to happen. James the Brain, I don't know if I want to ask you this question, but Trent, what are we thinking about it so far?
It just seems to be like laziness. I don't know whether, like Jack's just said, whether it's the lack of midfield. You know, last season he had more cover with Hendo and Mo tracking back, and the past few games, like Trent's just been jogging and he's getting beaten so easily, like 2-on-1 and 1-2s, and it's just like his amazing crossfield balls seem to mask the fact that his defending can be very poor at times, and this season he has been poor.
This is the question. Does Trent need... Did James really just open a can of Coca-Cola while I was asking a question? Do you know what I mean? How unprofessional. You know, everybody who's coming in here, I apologize. I apologize in advance for this guy, right? He's going to get shows. Look at the difference. Set up professional, the Liverpool posters in the background, the office chair, sat with his headphones, ready to go. And look at this guy. Just cur-free, not a curry that will get off. So, Trent, does he need dropping? That's an actual serious question. I mean, I never thought we would say this, but Ellis is saying no. Who else do we have at right back? Jack, you've got a little theory into that, haven't you? What you think could happen potentially today?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could be playing Gomez at right back today with Phillips at centre back. Exactly what Paul's just said there. And that would be my go-to. I think Trent just needs a week break, to be honest.
I think Trent needs a vacation.
I don't know about you, but do you not think that it could be a hangover from last season? Like, there's a few players that are like that. We've gone for all four. I know myself as a fan, I was drained after last season. Never mind being a player. So
it's so true. When you look at it, Trent was playing in the red, and I know you highlight this, Jack, with the stats. Trent was playing in the red all last season. He doesn't get rest. He's playing a high percentage of every game that we play. That shows either one, he's just irreplaceable, or two, James, the lack of depth. And now we've brought in Ramsey, who's in Klopp's famous basement. We've let Nico Williams go, Connor Bradley go. The only option is Gomez. But Gomez last season actually showed that we were strong at right back, and he picked up a couple of assists when he played there as well, which was much to everyone's surprise.
Yeah, I mean, if the other advantage, I say it's an advantage, but the other thing is if he wanted to keep Virgil and Gomez at centre back, Milner at right back is always an option, and then you could play Fabinho, Henderson, and Carvalho, or Elliott in mid.
I've muted him.
I
He's
mean,
just said Milner at right back.
I know, I did think that as well, but we've got no midfield options anyway, and I thought Milner was poor on Monday night.
I have to mute him. With opinions like that, drinking Coke in the morning, he's on the naughty step for a little bit. James, if I could switch your camera off right now, I would, because that was just Milner at right back. No, we've got Gomez, Trent, maybe Nat Phillips. I'm not sure about, but maybe he'll do the job. Is that how bad it's got though, Jack? That we're willing to put Nat Phillips in there because Trent looks so tired. And well, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Klopp does this a lot. He'll kind of put like the minimum amount of work needed in a game just to get a 1-0 win. And he'll do that with his team. And it seems like we do that with our transfer policy as well. It's how the clubs run. Minimum work to get just the minimum success, just about.
It's true. It's like, let's tick over. Let's do good business. Let's just get enough in to get us through the season and perform reasonably well to where we want to be to get more money next year. It's run so much like a business, an amazing business, by the way, but not a football club. This isn't how football clubs should be run. But we've got Alex Frank saying, I think it'll be a good idea to drop him. Are we really, says Bogdan, talking about dropping Trent? Remember what you were talking about 2 months ago. Do you know what? I've defended Trent so much defensively. When you compare him with the Reece Jameses, with Cancelos and all these players, I've defended him saying his defense is much better than we think. But lately, there's no defending the way that he's defended. You're like, well, I did there, James. There's no defending the way he's defending. That was a good one. But what we're going to do before we get to any betting bankers or any did you knows, Jay-Z's panicking again, we're going to just go through a couple of comments. Then we're going to pull up some highlights of Trent's defending. Jack has done some amazing analysis that he's going to talk through first in a second on Trent's defending, on Liverpool's position against the counter-attack. And then we're going to break down Trent a little bit more. So let's have a look at these comments. That Gomez assist to Jota was class. That was Trent-esque. Exactly. 100% Trent-esque. We've got Reds entirely. Who do you think we'll get in the midfield? This isn't a transfer show. How dare you? This is statistically speaking. But it won't be De Jong. I'll tell you that for free. Paul is laughing because James got muted. Reds entirely, thumbs up. Samikas will start today. This is another one. Before we move on to Trent, Robbo is getting away with murder. Because Trent's side is conceding goals, Andy Robertson, James, is getting away with a lot of errors.
Yeah. I think both our fullbacks are coming under a little bit more scrutiny now. You know, we know what they're capable of assisting wise. It's just the defensive side of it that we're lacking now, and it is costing us. You know, we're having Jadon Sancho make Virgil van Dijk look like Noel bloody Gallagher, for God's sake. So something needs to happen defensively before it gets too late.
Yeah, so true. Noel Gallagher, eh? What song does Noel sing, James? Give us an impression of Virgil van Dijk doing an Noel Gallagher song.
No.
Come on.
No.
And after, in fact, I don't want to sing it because it's Man City song, so I'm not singing it. Not a chance. Bogdan throwing shade at Trent. How he can be tired after 3 games. He charged himself in LA's nightclubs. Wow. Bogdan throwing shade. Play Costas at right back. He's too left-footed, isn't he? Like, he'd be cutting in all the time. Yeah. He's too one-footed, so that wouldn't happen. But what we're going to do, we're going to pull up a bit of footage that Jack has highlighted, analysed. We're going to be bringing this to you in most shows. It's like, this is Sky Sports level. I know Jack's excited about this. He's probably been practicing in the mirror this morning. His first time. It's Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville standards. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this up. We'll have Jack's voice over the top, and he's going to talk us through the counter-attack, how Liverpool are exposed against the counter-attack. So, Jack, I'll pull this up for you, and we'll let you analyse this footage.
Okay,
I'll
so
stop it there a second. Let me get it on full screen. We need a full screen.
Yeah.
We can't just have Jack on this little screen business. Let me get that off there. There we go. Red's entirely blocking our screen. How dare you? Here we go. So we've got the footage. Let me go back to the beginning for Jack, and then Jack will run you through this footage.
Yep. So what we're going to see probably today is how Bournemouth are going to set up, very similar to the way they did against Man City. You see the back five with the four in midfield just in front, the low block, and this is very early on in the game as well. So you can see that this is going to be their game plan, and I expect them to do exactly the same against us. As the play goes on, you've got Kyle Walker here, who's about to lose the ball. Now watch the right winger Tavernier and left back Stacey. As soon as they win the ball in transition, they're setting off straight away, ready to counter attack. So hopefully it will play in a second. So there they go, they're off. And now they're pretty much through on the left-hand side. Kyle Walker's been left behind, and if they can get that pass over the top, then they're through. And that's what's happened to us, especially against Crystal Palace. So I do think this is how Bournemouth will set up today against us. Now, this doesn't come off for them this time, but they do this another 3 times during this game. Nothing came of it, but you can tell that's going to be their game plan for today.
It completely is, and it when you look at that, it worries me a little bit, Jack, because Liverpool, that's where we are most exposed, down that side. Bournemouth look like they know exactly what they're doing when it comes to attacking that side of the field. We're going to pull up Bournemouth's different previous lineups and the passing networks and the sides that they attack on. But we pulled this one up, the sides they attack on. And look at Man City, how they changed their game plan, James. With the other teams, they usually operate down the right-hand side. But they knew with Kyle Walker maybe adventuring too far up the pitch, Kyle Walker not being as switched on defensively, and he's known to make mistakes, similar to Trent, that's why they attacked that left-hand side. When you look at that video again that Jack was just showing us a moment ago, let me pull that video up again. Look how they're triggered. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
So they're ready in a tight formation. You can see how high up the field Kyle Walker is. Let me just move it on a little bit. And then look, they're ready to attack. You look at the right-hand side, they're ready to go. As soon as Kyle Walker loses that ball, and it's similar to Trent as well. When you look at what Trent does, when Trent's up there, and we're going to get a Trent highlight up in a second, as soon as that ball is lost, Trent's tracking back isn't good enough. Kyle Walker jogging. They're off to the races, and then they're away. They're setting down the left-hand side. So, James, they're going to do this against Liverpool today. Now, if we can pull these stats up, and we are professional, but if we can pull these up, surely Bournemouth are going to look at it, Liverpool are going to look at it, and Klopp should know that's how they're going to attack against us today.
Yeah, definitely. I think the other thing going back to that video as well, though, is the fact that if you notice where Kyle Walker actually is, and then when Trent, the comparison with Trent would be a lot further back, and he would only be slightly jogging, whereas at least with this one, Kyle Walker is actually making a little bit of an effort to track back, whereas with Trent, we've seen it the past few games, he just seems to like jog and just hope that Virgil and Gomez can do his job for him, and it's costing us far too much at the moment.
It is. And for people that say Bournemouth, they're not a team that like to play football, this suggests that they are. This here suggests that they are a team that does like to play football, because you can see that they can change their styles of play based on what team they are playing against. Very rare they go down the middle, which Liverpool were compact. We can defend through the middle. But when it comes to playing out wide, that's our trouble. That's what worries me a little bit, that they like to play down the wings. And they've got quite a bit of pace, haven't they, Bournemouth, Jack, when it comes to playing down the wings?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that'll be a good reason why Gomez might be suited to play at right back today, given Trent's performance against United, where he seemed like he couldn't run.
Yeah, so true.
Well, there you go.
Ellis, Trent is too lazy. It's a footballer, so he's obviously not lazy. So we can't say he's too lazy, but we understand what you mean. I'm gonna pull this footage up of Trent against I think it was the Rashford goal against Manchester United, and how Trent loses the ball, and look at his effort to get back. And this is what we mean. If you're a right back, your job is predominantly to get back and defend, get back in position, transition. How many times, as football fans, we're not football managers and coaches, but that word, transition, everybody knows that that's the fundamentals of football. So when we look at this next clip from Trent, it's slightly worrying that he can't do the transition bit, which is the easiest bit in football. So let me pull this little clip up of Trent tracking back versus Manchester United. Do you want to talk through it, Jack, a little bit?
Yeah, so you can see here he's okay when the play's in front of him, but look at him just stop there. Now, I know this is the last 5 minutes of the game, but he's literally still in the position he started during that build-up play.
Yeah. So only the fact that Alisson and Gomez saved his arse that we didn't go 3-1 down.
Yeah, it's so true. And what I've noticed as well is there's a lot of lazy passes too at the minute from Trent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And usually, like, look at that for that pass Trent doesn't normally make. Trent in that position, he normally picks out the man on the left up at the top.
Diaz.
Top left-hand corner. I think it's Diaz, or that might be Diaz. It could be Carvalho.
In the centre circle.
Normally picks that pass out easily. Yeah. And if he picks that pass out, we've got Costas, Diaz, free in space. But he's trying to play these cute passes, I feel, in unnecessary positions. You're forcing a pass which you should probably be making at the beginning of the game. And when he gives it away, look at the reaction, James. When he gives it away, he's like, do you know what? I'll try to press there. And he's like, oh, no. And he stops. He literally stops and stands still. Right.
It comes to something when Fabinho is further back defensively than Trent is. And you see Trent stops slap bang in the middle of the pitch, and Fabinho's like, oh wait, hang on a minute. And you can see Fabinho's trying to track back, and if you take it back slightly to the beginning of the clip, just before he makes the attempted pass, why isn't he? And maybe I'm overlooking it, but why isn't he? Harvey Elliott's free in the middle. He's got Fred coming towards him. Why isn't he just knocking it down the line for Harvey Elliott to run into him instead of trying to play something really stupid? Like
when it's last minutes of the game, especially,
that's the issue.
But Trent as well. It's either you play a first-time pass, because if he does, look at the space Elliott's in. Yeah. First-time pass. Elliott's got the ability, and this is what we've said. Our players have the ability to turn, to have a nice first touch. We've seen that with Elliott, and we're away. But Trent, his decision-making is holding onto the ball. But the worst part is the tracking back and trying to win the ball. Now, we've got a United fan in the chat, and he's enjoying this a little bit. Beautiful scenes, jogging like Rashford. It's so true. Like, you've seen it with Rashford. We're seeing it with Trent. But what he's saying is Trent needs a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 to protect his defensive deficiencies. Is this what we've been asking for, Jack, for quite a while? That either Trent switches on and focuses on his defending, or we cover him enough so he can have more freedom, so he can do these things and not have as much defensive duty.
I mean, I feel like most of the time we actually do play a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, because Fabinho drops back and splits the centre-backs, doesn't he?
Uh-huh.
And it's the same conversation that we have with Reece James, isn't it? So Reece James plays in that system, and he played in that back four the other week. I think he played in that back four, or he played as centre back against Leeds, and he got found out. Yeah,
he played as the right-sided centre back against Leeds, and his defending wasn't up to scratch. But maybe this is the modern right back. But what we allude to, and it's not the positioning. Like, positionally, that's fine. Trent should be there. Look where Costas is, same position. That's fine. even when he gives the ball away, okay, you've tried a pass, that's fine, but it's this part here.
Yeah.
Why should he be chasing upfield and trying to lead that press? We see Trent leading the press so many times when really in this situation here, he gives the ball away. Okay, I can see the threat inside me. Elliot's pressing. So what I'll do is I'll drop back. I'll get in position. And then this goal, if Trent drops back here, covers, that goal doesn't happen because Trent is ready. He's already picked that ball up. But no, we see the ball goes through and then they nearly get a goal from it. So a lot of it is down to Trent, but we can't just pin the blame on Trent because it isn't just him. I want to go to the other goal. I want to go to the Sancho goal in that game. And I know this is Jack's favourite one, this one, because we've got Van Dijk doing Noel Gallagher. We've got the aura of Van Dijk that we've all been talking about this week. And we want to highlight Trent again on this one. So, Jack, let's pull this Trent clip up. And is this the most worrying one for you, this next one, Jack?
Yeah, because it was so early in the game as well.
Yeah. So let me pull this one up, and Jack, you can go through it again.
Yeah, I mean, this is just too easy right now, this 1-2. And then again, it's like the last minute of the game, he just stops. If he continues his run, he can block that shot. He actually nearly gets there after just walking. So if he actually puts some effort in, he could have blocked that shot.
And look at the time. This is what Jack is saying. Look at the time. Before we carry on, treble lords, shush. Sancho should be jailed for killing a pensioner. R.I.P. Milner.
I agree with him.
Lap it up. But at least Milner.
I was going to say, at least Milner made the effort
to try and do something. But we pull it up and we look at the way Trent is defending. 1-2s should not be happening against an elite level right back or an elite level defense. You either step up out of the 1-2 or you cover, drop back so you can see your man and you pick the pass up, interception. But we look at Trent here again. First of all, we should be pushing out quicker than that. So we should have pushed out much quicker than that. In the 15th minute, we should be pushed out, potentially catching him offside, but we didn't. So then we tried to get the man. Look at Trent. You know that's happening. And it's easy every time.
Just
when the ball comes into Sancho, look at him where he is now. You should be busting a gut to get back in the middle to help to cover because you've got no threat over your shoulder. Bust a gut to get back in. But it's too late. Oh, no, I'll do it. No, James Milner's just slid, and it's too late.
Just a
we
question.
Can't just blame Trent, though, can we? We are highlighting Trent, and it's not just a Trent issue, is it, Jack? It's an issue with all our defense at the moment. We're not defending the way that we used to with our lives as a unit. We look so confused.
Yeah, but I also think, is it highlighted more because we're not scoring at the other end?
That's a great point because
if we won 4-1 and that goal happened, we wouldn't be talking about it that much.
Yeah, that is a great point because Liverpool always concede chances. When I look back at last season, we are always letting goals in, not goals, but chances in down the wing. A lot of teams weren't clinical against us, and it made us look like we were this defensive master, this defensive powerhouse. What I would say, though, is, boy, are we missing Joel Matip at the minute. Yeah. Boy, are we missing Joel Matip. Because, yes, Gomez coming back, and I think Gomez can get to the levels, but in those situations, Matip's reading of the game, when to press, when to close someone down, when to drop and pick up the space in the box, Matip is crucial in those kind of areas, isn't he?
Well, he needs to be like that because he hasn't got the pace, so he needs to read the game better anyway to actually get into those positions to stop the attacks.
I want to pull this up. And Treble's Lord is loving life, but he's making some great points. I'm going to get that video back up for you because I've said this, and this I want to highlight Van Dijk this time, to be honest, because I said this earlier in the week. I said that Virgil van Dijk against Zaha should be stopping the shot. And here against Sancho, no elite level centre back should allow any attacker more than 2 touches in the box. 1 touch to set, 1 touch to shoot. That's what attackers are told. Anything after that, centre back should be on you. Virgil van Dijk here, when I pull this up again. So let me just get rid of this and I'll pull this up and I'll put it large screen. Watch Virgil. So positionally fine, the centre backs. Virgil's in a good space. But as soon as this ball comes in here now, there's no reason once Sancho takes a touch that Virgil shouldn't be stepping out.
No.
Virgil should be stepping out in that situation, trying to come and maybe on the right-hand side, though, I don't know who's coming into the box, maybe ushering that player. But that's 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, 5 touches to finish.
Yeah.
There should be no chance he's getting 5 touches. As soon as he comes back here, inside James Milner, Virgil van Dijk should be there. He should have closed that down.
He should be where, I think, is it McTominay there?
Yeah. But Sancho takes another touch after this.
To get it onto his right
touch
foot.
To set it onto his right foot.
Yeah. He's basically
Virgil
taking a
should
penalty
not
at that
do it.
point, isn't he?
I don't want to criticise Van Dijk because he's been unbelievable for us, hasn't he, James? But that's not acceptable at this level.
No.
When you're playing Man United, when you're playing in the Premier League, we can't defend like this in these situations.
No, definitely not. Just can you just take the clip back to the 1-2 with Trent, and you can just see Gomez. So you got Trent. They come for the 1-2. Is it just me, or the position that Gomez is in? Should he be doing a little bit more to get closer to the
Gomez is on Fernandes.
Yeah, I would say
is Fernandes.
Is that Trent's like man?
Yeah. So Rashford, I think it's Rashford that plays the cross in.
Yeah,
Rashford
I think he's on.
That's
I think Gomez is keeping an eye on Fernandes there.
Yeah, Gomez over his left-hand shoulder should be keeping an eye on Fernandes. But what happens is, which happens with all centre-backs, you're in 2 minds now. That ball there, Gomez knows he's fast. He knows he's got pace. So he's thinking, I can win this ball. So that's why he's going back for the ball. Instead, he should have, in hindsight, marked the space because it's not a danger. Someone on the wing is at a danger. The danger now is they're going to play a ball into the box. I need to make sure that ball is cleared away, that he's not got a ball in the box. If he takes 2 touches, then close him down. But it's not that case. Rashford, first-time ball. If Gomez is back next to Van Dijk, that ball's cleared away by Gomez. So, again, it's not just Trent. It's not just Van Dijk. It's literally the back. Those 3 in that position are all at fault. But it's reactionary because of what Trent has done.
Can I just ask a question? Just take it back slightly.
Where do you want it to?
To where about there. So you can see you've got Virgil and Robbo both running towards the goal. Neither one of them are looking behind to see who's behind them. I think if Virgil or Robbo take that little look over their left-hand shoulder, I don't think Sancho gets the space that he gets.
I think what it is, and I think you'll agree, Jack, it's an accumulation of a few things. Robbo should be shouting to Van Dijk to say that, look, I've picked this man up. There's a man at the back post, whatever. They will be on the swivel. They're not going to keep looking at the man. The heads will be on the swivel. They'll know what danger's there. That position, for me, that's a good position from Van Dijk and Robbo. I think they're in a good position.
I do as well.
You've got Fabinho. I think it's Fabinho. It might be. No, it's not Fabinho because he didn't start. That's Milner, I think, coming back into the box. So Milner's doing the right thing as well. Everybody's in the right position there, but because Trent's let that 1-2 go so easy, then it's reactions. And when players react, it's all about decision-making in the moment. Van Dijk should have done better, yes. Gomez potentially should have stayed where he was, but you can't blame them because they're just reacting to the situation now. And it's tough. There's an argument that maybe some more midfielders should have come back into the box, but that's what's happened. What I want to do is I want to take a look at Bournemouth now. So I want to have a little bit of a look at Bournemouth to see where the threats may lie this season. And Jack, by the way, everybody, please follow Jack at Anfield Analytics because all these stats are from the main man himself, the man on screen, Statman Jack. Before we do, let's have a look at a few comments before we look at Bournemouth's lineups. Liverpool better win today. Oh, they better win today. Jack, if Liverpool don't win today...
No, that's not going to be... No, we're going to win.
Not. I don't think it is. But even if we draw today, do we need to make more noise? Because it's not acceptable, is it? If we draw at home to Bournemouth, that's not acceptable. After the start we've had.
Yeah, but I think the team, they'll know themselves it's not good enough if we don't win today.
I don't even want to think about it.
Shush!
Anyway, obey Jubilee. Don't be saying things like this. Shush, I'm getting you off the screen straight away. 100% been saying it since last season. No Matip, no party. Joel Matip is so... We say it as Liverpool fans, notoriously underrated. He was better than Virgil van Dijk last season. 100% better than Virgil van Dijk. And we've been saying this, that Matip, when he stays fit, Liverpool are a different side. Look at our best season. Matip was fit for most of the season, played in the crucial games. Champions League final. Who played?
The three times we've reached the Champions League final, Matip's played most of that season.
Yeah, because Joel Matip is an absolute beast. Kanate, though, give him his props. He's looking like he could fill in.
Yeah.
But Gomez is looking like a Scooby-Doo character right now. One of those where when you capture them at the end and you lift the mask up and you're like, that wasn't Joel Matip. That's what he's like at the minute. So I think maybe Reece Williams has got a Joel Matip mask on or something. No shade to Reece Williams, by the way. Reece, we love our academy players.
The under-18 showing us how to beat Man United, I see then.
I tell you what, James is getting... Why does he get trigger happy? Because he's got this control of... whatever it is, he's getting trigger happy. Liverpool under 18s 1-0 versus United. Trent, Cone, Doherty. Payback. Payback for you United fans. Treble Lords, where are you now? Let me see. Where are you now? Oh, Treble Lords is being kind. I can't give him any criticism now because he's saying like, share, and subscribe if new. Support a quality channel as you continue to get quality content on a consistent basis. Trust me, the consistency this week, we're doing a lot. We're doing a lot, and we're going to bring it to you every time. So all we ask is a like and a subscribe, and that's your free pass to getting amazing content. Big up, Jack. Don't be stealing him, Jack. Please do not go to United
do
stats for them.
I can't do that.
Ever. It's a shame Matip's injured in our 1920 title winning season. That was a shame. But it is what it is, and we need a squad depth. We've got to be able to manage without these players. So let's look at today's game and where the threat could potentially come from. By the way, James is coming soon.
I'm accepting defeat on that. I haven't got anything. I'm accepting defeat on that.
You have to make a stat up, James. You have to. Plus, you can call me out anytime when you want to place your betting banker. It might be for today's game. It might be for next week. It could be anything, but you can call me at any time you want to place it. Let's look at the last three lineups for Bournemouth's side as we do the opposition's review. So Aston Villa, they went with a 5-4-1. Against Man City, a 3-4-3. Against Arsenal, a 3-5-2. It shows, doesn't it, Jack, that there's a lot of versatility in Bournemouth's play. Yes, it might not have worked for them so far, but those three games, you can't judge a team that's newly promoted on those three games because Aston Villa are a top-class team as well when we think about it. So does this show that they can adapt and change the way they play to suit each team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, against Aston Villa and Arsenal, they were a bit more expansive in the way they played. Compared to City, and you've got Lerma there, who's actually a midfielder playing at centre back against City. So yeah, they are very versatile. So it's kind of difficult to know what they're going to do, but I would probably go with the middle with Man City's formation, even though it does say 3-4-3. We know it's going to be a 5-4-1.
Yeah, it will be
with Stacey and Smith sitting further back.
Yeah, I agree. I think Man City probably, I say a similar style to Liverpool, but attacking wing backs up the field, try and force play through the middle a little bit. Liverpool have been forcing too much play down the middle of recent as well. But it's the wingers, isn't it? They're going to be a crucial part today, James, for Bournemouth, because the space where Liverpool are most vulnerable is down the wings. Who do you think might cause Liverpool the most trouble today, James?
If he plays, I think Dominic Solanke will. I think he'll come back to haunt Liverpool today if he plays.
You know what, James? I'm muting you again. Be quiet. Dominic Solanke. Go away with this Dominic Solanke chat, James. Virgil van Dijk will be rubbing his hands together if Dominic Solanke plays today. He'll be rubbing them together behind his back like he normally does. That's what he'll be doing if Dominic Solanke plays for Bournemouth today. I think the way Bournemouth have been playing is quite positive, isn't it, Jack? Like, I don't think Solanke comes straight in to this lineup. I think Moore's acquitted himself well. I think we can see that Solanke isn't preferred to Moore, because if you look in the first game, he's played on the left. He's not a left winger.
Yeah.
So potentially, I think Moore's definitely going to be the central striker. It's whether they play that one person up against Liverpool's back. Like that Arsenal formation. That one for me, I think, could trouble Liverpool, because we don't do well with two vocal points on the counter-attack, do we, as a Liverpool, as a club?
No, but I also think with Solanke, he doesn't really have the pace as well. And if you're going to play against Liverpool on the counter, you need a bit of pace. So I can't see him playing from the start anyway. Yeah,
so true. Ellis, look, we're going to give you lineups in Hype Station. That's what the show is. Hype Station show. You'll get Jack's lineup there. You'll get James's lineup. We'll put all the lineups of Kloppzone teams, predicted 11s. Look on the page as well, because we're going to give it there as well. But this is the stat show. We're just breaking down different things. We're trying to say which players we think should play against Bournemouth. This is more an analysis of what's going to happen. And later on, that's the hype. That's the build-up. That's where we're going to get into score predictions and things. I will, though, ask Jack and James the score predictions. I will, because I'm kind like that. I'm nice like that. So stay tuned. We still want to hear your predictions. Tavernier is a baller. Ellis, so true. Like Tavernier, whatever you want to say. I say Tavernier, whatever you want to say. But he is a baller. Again, Zamura, a huge talent. He was a glass fitter before playing professional football. It's this hunger and desire that I don't like playing against Liverpool, Jack. These players that appreciate being professional footballers and will give everything on the pitch. That's the best way to play Liverpool, isn't it? Be aggressive.
Yeah, it's how we seem to be, how teams seem to be playing against us this season, and it's worked, hasn't it?
It has worked.
Oh, thank you.
Jack knows his ball. Jack does know his ball. Why do you think Jack is here? Because Jack is an expert. I don't know why the other guy's here, but James, calm down on the call. This is it.
We're here to give you right from the start here today.
Opinions. We contrast things. Look, we've got a guest appearer on the show, making their debut on Kloppzone. Yes! We need to get her on Ladies' Night, because that little girl right there has an unbelievable knowledge of the women's game. So Ladies' Night is coming up soon. Even the men, like, she likes watching the men as well, doesn't she, James?
Yeah, sadly.
He's gutted now. He's gutted. Like, she gets a lot of praise, and James just gets nothing but criticism. Let's take a look, though, because Jack has got more stats for us. The passing networks of Bournemouth. This is the interesting one, because when we looked at Liverpool last game, it was like we didn't know where we were going to play. We looked at the average positions, and James Milner, Jack, was literally sat on Firmino's backside. Like, him and Firmino were occupying the same space. We were heavy to the right-hand side, which was strange that we conceded so much there. But maybe that's because we're so heavy, we turn the ball over on that side, and we're getting countered. What would you like to see today? Looking at these passing networks, Bournemouth look like such a well-organised, nice, evenly spaced squad. Where would you try and exploit that for Liverpool today, Jack?
I mean, We know, well, I think we pretty much know they're going to be playing that low block. That Man City passing network, you see, the back three are pretty much on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
But you can see the gap in the middle. So it could be a game for the likes of Elliott or Carvalho.
Carvalho, yeah. That's a great...
Just to break those lines.
Do you think that's why Bobby might come into his own today, being able to pull that number 8?
Yeah.
I'm guessing number 8's Lerma, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Do you think he'll be able to pull Lerma out? And we need to see Salah coming inside more. Trent, Robbo, keep the width, occupy those wide centre-backs so that Salah and Diaz can come inside and exploit that big gap in the middle. Is that where you potentially think we could win the game, Jack?
Yeah, it's exactly how City scored. Haaland came off the line with his man following him and did a 1-2 with Gundogan in behind. I think it probably is the way to go about it instead of spamming crosses.
Oh, my. If we spam another cross, I'm going to get a tin, box it up, and sell it at Tesco because I'm sick of the sight of this spam all the time. James, looking at those passing networks, what do you do today to capitalize on Bournemouth? Because it does look like there is opportunity through the middle because of how wide the centre backs seem to be playing.
I think that's going to be the key, isn't it? Is playing through the middle and giving and going, and not, like you two have just said, not just constantly spamming the crosses because teams can know what we're going to do and teams can prepare for it. Whereas if we throw something different in and work it through the middle, give go, it might open up a bit more space for Salah and Diaz to run into.
That is a great point, but this is also a great point, Jack, from Alonso saying, is it Xabi? Is it Xabi Alonso? I think he's made like a name that kind of fits with today's game. He's got Xabi Alonso representing Liverpool. He's got Kiefer Moore for the last name. Otarola, that's just a nice middle name. I'm not going to lie. I'd take that one. But Alonso is saying, I can't see a clear pattern in the 3 different matches. Is this proof of a team with few matches together? It's either proof of a team with few matches or a team that likes to keep teams guessing, that changes the way they play. I think Scott Parker is actually a good tactical manager. He's been around the game. He's seen different managers. He knows how the game works, but I don't know if he's got the personnel, Jack, to execute what he's actually thinking. This could play into Liverpool's hands, but also the unpredictability could also play into Bournemouth's hands.
Yeah, but I'm not sure whether he knows his best lineup just from looking at those lineups as well. Is that a case of him being versatile with who he's selecting, or does he actually not know who his best 11 is yet?
That's so true. Do you think Liverpool then just set up, because like Jack just said, look at these 3 matches. Lerma's played in central midfield in the last match. He played at centre-back the game before, right centre-back the game before that. It's all over the place. Billing has played in central midfield, then played as a striker in the 3rd game. It's kind of experimental at the minute. So do Liverpool just approach this game in their own mindset? Just don't worry about what Bournemouth are going to do. If we play our game, if we are Liverpool that we know, we should be winning the game, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bournemouth have averaged between 30-40% possession in all 3 games. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get over 70% possession again. So it's just going to be a repeat of the last couple of games, to be honest.
Yeah, it is.
And we just need to get that early goal.
Please get that early goal. Ellis, Fabinho, long shot goal today. Anything. I don't care if it comes off the backside, if it's an own goal. Early goals are when Liverpool dominate teams. If we can get a goal in nice and early, we'll easily see this game
The
through.
issue we've had, though, is because we've conceded first in all of the Premier League games so far, Liverpool they don't seem to know what to do. I think if we get the first goal, I think it will open the floodgates. But I think if Bournemouth get an early goal, then I think Bournemouth will probably end up just parking the bus and be like, yep, Sam, we're all right with this.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Liverpool will just get so frustrated and things will get forced and it'll turn into an absolute mess.
That's the blueprint. The blueprint against Liverpool: play narrow, play deep, try and get a goal on the counter-attack, put 2 people on the centre-backs.
2 people
If they
on
do
Trent.
that and get a goal, we are I don't say easy, but we are less difficult than Man City to play defensively against when you go a goal ahead.
We're too slow in playing the ball, so the team can set up defensively. That's the issue.
Yeah, and we don't have that creativity. If Man City had have gone 1-0 down against Bournemouth, they've got enough in midfield to create something. Whereas if we go 1-0 down, we're scratching our asses going, right, okay, right, let's worry about the next game. Let's not focus what we're doing. And I think that's going to be the issue.
When you talk about football and when we look at football, Liverpool's players are confident in their own ability. There's no doubt about it. They're confident players. They'll be sat there today with the chests out, like, let's go out and let's just get 5. Let's shut everybody up. But the problem is, in this run of form that they're on, they'll go onto the pitch with confidence. They'll dominate the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. But if a goal doesn't come, then they start to force things. Then they start to think, right, is this something? It's all mental. If they just carried on playing the way they should be, they'd get goals, but they force things. And then Bournemouth get a goal. More negativity would slip in, and then you become stiff. Look at Trent forcing that pass in the clip that we showed earlier on. Trent doesn't do that when he's light on his feet, full of confidence, no weight on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Trent nails that pass first time, and he gets a 1-2, whips a ball in, and there's a goal. But another key point is, who do we have on the end of crosses? This is what we mean. Trent's putting crosses in. It's great if you've got Diaz, great if you've got Jota, but we've no players known for heading goals now. So those crosses have to be pinpoint, don't they, Jack, for anything to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the reason why we probably got Núñez in. So we've got a target then, but obviously with him not playing at the moment, Bobby's that man, but Bobby just drops too deep. For him, he's never in the box. Yeah. So the way we need to play is just Bobby to drop deep and the 2 wingers just to come in a bit.
Maybe Milner, because Milner seemed to be playing attacker a lot last game.
The problem we have as well, though, is Trent. I've noticed with his corners, he seems to send them so far to the back post, or he tries to do something clever to Salah on the edge of the box instead of just whipping it straight across the face of goal. He seems to go so deep, and there's no one there. Instead, you've got Gomez and Van Dijk sat on the 2 centre backs and the goalkeeper, and instead of just putting it in there, he's just putting it to frigging the tea lady the other side of the stand, and it's like, what
tea lady, James? You've been to too many Sunday League games. Do you realise there's no tea lady at Anfield stood in the stands?
Well, no, but I know that. But there's.
I'll add to that actually, and do my betting banker.
Oh, I knew it was coming, ladies and gentlemen. The betting banker is here. Jack, what's your betting banker for the day?
I think Liverpool will score from a corner today.
Oh, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Jack plays his betting banker. He thinks that Liverpool will score from a corner in today's game. We'll see next time. I feel like these shows now, we definitely need to do these build-up. I love this build-up show because the betting banker means a bit more to me now. So these betting bankers, James, have you got a betting banker while we're at it?
Not yet. I'm still thinking.
He's bottled it. On that note, what we're going to do, we're going to go to a part of the show that James is also not prepared about, and that is... Did you know? So this part of the show is Did You Know? Statman Jack versus James, who thinks he's Statman Jack, but he will never be Statman Jack. He's going to give us a Did You Know stat. James is going to make one up because he's and Jack is going to give us a real stat. Did you know? I'm going to start getting involved in this. I feel like I want to get involved in the Did You Know as well. So I'm going to have to change the graphic. But this part of the show, everybody, I want you to vote for the best Did stat that is dropped here. I'm going to start with the one, the only, Mr. James, the not prepared James. So, James, the brain, this is your time. What's your, did you know?
I mean, I'm clutching at straws here, but the only game that Liverpool have won so far this season, they had less than 50% possession in the game.
This season?
Yeah. The only
not
game
won
that we've
this season, James.
James,
have you been watching the game? Cancel him! Cancel this guy, someone, quickly!
The only game that we've won so far this season was the Community Shield. The only game that was the only game we had less than 50% possession and we won it. All the other 3 games that we've played, we've had over 50% possession and lost all of them. Well, like lost 1 and drawn 2.
We'll give him a clap, ladies and gentlemen, because he pulled that one out the bag, out of nowhere. It actually, James, I'm quite not impressed, but you make a good point because we are dominating so much possession, but nothing's coming of it. And it just shows that maybe Liverpool's ploy should be to invite some pressure on so we open up the pitch so we can play our style of football. So, James, I'll give you that one. It's not too bad, actually. But the man in the know is next. It's Statman Jack. Statman Jack, what's your stat did you know for this week?
So, this season so far, Bournemouth have conceded the second most number of shots from corners, and Liverpool have had the most number of shots from corners.
This is why, Jack, then, you have said your betting banker for today is Liverpool to see what I mean. This is the guy in the know. This is why he does his due diligence. He's got to get one of these. Unbelievable. I did not realize that. I didn't realize that Liverpool were so threatening from corners. We've also pointed out before, haven't we, that this is a nice one, James. If you put this up for go on, James, explain this.
That's the possession stat that I was talking about. So we got 43% against City, 67 against Fulham, 72 against Palace, and 70 against United. The only game we've won, and we had less than 50% possession.
It does make sense. He's digging here. He's trying his best to win this Did You Know battle. Jack, going back to yours, and we've mentioned Joe Gomez, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Does Joe Gomez, do we get him up there, get him in the box? Should that be a thing where centre-backs known for challenging for headers, but you've said, like a great stat that you brought up one of the last weeks is that Gomez stays back for corners. So he's not going to get those goals. So would that be something maybe we change? Van Dijk's not being as clinically dominant, as aerially dominant, sorry. So maybe Gomez gets forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered it, didn't we? And we said Gomez actually has the better aerial duel percentage win as well. Yeah. So I definitely think it's an option that we should think about using.
Yeah, especially if Lerma plays, because he's only 5 foot. So if he plays at centre back and you've got both Gomez and Van Dijk playing, those two need to be targeting him, because if they do, they're just going to have the jump on him.
He's only 5 foot, did you say, James? 5 foot is tiny. Like that's
5 foot 8.
There we go, 5'8". So you just took 8 inches off someone. James, do you realise what that does for someone's manhood? Taking 8 inches off them. Dear me. So I like this one though. Big up, guys. This one. Salah has 8 goals in 6 matches against Bournemouth. Salah today, people. If he's not your captain for FPL, just make him your captain, because Salah, for me, is going to do something today. Yeah. Jack's not sure. Jack just wants to call.
I didn't captain him.
Did you know? Who's your captain this week?
Jesus.
I mean, to be fair, I've got Jesus and Salah in my.
But I'll be coming back next week, and I'll be laughing. Which leads me on to my My betting banker for today. Let me get me on the screen for this one. In fact, let me get me on the big screen for this one. My betting banker, ladies and gentlemen, for today's game, Mo Salah hat trick. I may live to regret it, but that is Mo Salah hat trick for today's game. James the Brain, that leaves you and you alone. You're the only person left to finish the show with your betting banker. Another time where you have to wing it.
My betting banker will be Liverpool have over 60% possession but don't win the game.
Don't win the game. Oh my, James. You know what? Get out of here.
Let's kick him off.
That is disgraceful, that. James, don't come back ever again because you. Oh, that is giving these buttons. Jack, tell him Liverpool over 60% possession and don't win the game against Bournemouth at home. No. Get this negative ninny off our screens, I say, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bournemouth have created one of them. I've conceded like some of the most chances, maybe not as much as Nottingham Forest, but they're way down there. So I can't see us not winning.
No. Do you know what? Ellie says Ash has lost it. I think James has lost it more. James, come on, you're being G. Don't be G. Come on, this is exactly it. Yeah. You're being G. Bogdan fully agrees with me. I thought the same. Mo Salah, goals. But this is the best one. Kick the brain out. You're losing your nickname. I'm giving Jack Jack's got a double barrel name now. So it's Statman the Brain Jack. This is double barrel name. James doesn't get it. But that is statistically speaking for today. But I did promise everybody that I would ask these two for the match prediction. So the scoreline. Before we jump into that, big up Liverpool's Academy, 2-0 up against Manchester United. Trent Cone-Doherty is flying today. Oh, FRMZ wants a betting banker. Okay, for me, Gomez scoring a goal. That's a big one. And Fabio. That was my second betting banker. I was going to say Fabio to get a debut. Well, not is it his debut? Yeah, because he's not started. So
yeah.
Starting debut goal. I've put him as my first goal scorer today, but you'll see that later on in Hype Station. But to seal the show, to sign us out, Jack, score prediction.
3-0.
James the Brain.
I'm going to make myself look like a right idiot, but I put 3-1 Liverpool.
What a fool. So basically, you said Liverpool, your betting banker was Liverpool.
I screwed myself over here.
Then your result, 3-1. This is what are we playing with? 7-0, says FRMZ. Wow, that would be, I'd forget everything that's happened this season. If we win 7-0, I'd forget everything. I'd go FSG, put your checkbook back in your pocket. It's fine because we've got Fabio Carvalho. Because if we win, it'll be down to him. Forget the about K. Gordon because Ben Doak is smashing it at right wing. So true. Look out for this name, Ben Doak, in the academy. But my prediction, 4-0 Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going to get a job done today because we need to. We're at home. Yeah. The fans are going to be behind us. It's going to be a great day on Merseyside. And on that note, we thank you from myself, Statman Jack, James, James. We thank you so much. All our links are in the description. Hit like, hit subscribe on your way out. Please get over, follow Anfield Analytics for more. You'll be seeing so much more of them on Kloppzone's page. So get over, show Jack some support, show James a tiny bit of support.
Line up to be on Hype Station, Elliot, Ellis.
James, this isn't Hype Station. Why do you butt in? Every time I'm signing out, you butt in. Like Jack is thinking right now. Do you know what? Jack is sat there and he's thinking, I might just join the Jerry James show from now on because it's so unprofessional over here. So Big up the Jerry James Show as well,
Yeah.
because that is one of our very own. Make sure you go over, check them out. But we're bringing more shows to you today. We're bringing you Hype Station. We're bringing you post-match player ratings, halftime on Instagram, and everything in between. I may even fire up a watch-along for the game. I don't know. I feel like I just want to punish myself with live shows this week. But that has been Statistically Speaking. Jack, it's been a pleasure. James, it's been something. James's daughter, it's been a pleasure. Much more than your dad. But till next time, as we always say, you'll never walk alone. Come on, you Reds! Peace!